Right.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. Right. It does feel like we've got feedback. Can you hear? Is there whistling on your
No,
end?
it's stopped now. It was only at the beginning.
Oh, right. Okay. Anyway, right. Let's start again. Welcome everyone to Claret and Booze. As you know, we're not doing the Friday night booze up tomorrow. So what we thought that we would do was we'd jump on tonight and do a quick preview of the Newcastle game on Saturday, the early kickoff. We will be on afterwards to do kind of we'll be doing the booze up on Saturday night. And that will be a review, and the mood of that show will be dictated by the result on Saturday. So
buoyant mood.
It will be a win, Nick. It will be a win.
it'll be a win. But yeah. Anyway, we're gonna talk about the game on the weekend. Now, as we know, Newcastle themselves at the moment they had quite a fruitful transfer window. They struggled at the start. They was trying to get players in, but in the end, they've made some good signings. Trippier was probably the most notable of the signings. He's had a really good impact for him as well, hasn't he, since he's been in. And luckily, he's broken his foot, and he's going to be out for a few weeks now, about 5-6 weeks. He's broken his metatarsal.
Hey.
The other one as well, which I've heard today, is Manquillo. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or is it
Manquillo?
Yeah. He's out. So he was a bloke who was playing on their left back and may have been played on the right in absence of Trippier. So it's looking as though it's going to be Kraft at right back and what's his name at left back? Is it Dummett, isn't it?
Dummett, yeah.
Yeah, Dummett, they play at left back. So the other one is their big signing in that window was Bruno Guimaraes, who they bought from Lyon for 40 million, defensive midfielder. Really, really, really good player. He's had a couple of substitute appearances. He's a bit of a dynamo. He's good defensively. He's good. He's got everything. Whether or not that will translate to the Premier League, we'll find out. But as luck would have it, it looks like he's going to be making his full debut against us. So he's going to be starting with Joe Linton on the left side of a three-man central midfield. Joe Linton, who was a bit of a duffer of a striker, wasn't he? He weren't exactly scoring or anything like that. And I think the Newcastle fans were starting to hate him. But since he's dropped back into midfield, he's been sort of compared to almost Moussa Dembele, Tottenham Dembele, the midfielder. He's powerful. He runs. He's got a good use of the ball. So they've got there with Shelvey in the middle. That is a very, very strong three-man midfield that we're going to be going up against. Now, the way that they play, because obviously they've got Eddie Howe, and we kind of liken Eddie Howe to, we remember his Bournemouth days, very sort of gun-ho football. He had his philosophy, never changed the way that he played, and that kind of, they suffered for it in the end. It was all about, possession-based football and really exciting and stuff like that. Well, seems like he's had a bit of a change of philosophy in this one. In his short stint at Newcastle, they play kind of like us. They're playing counter-attacking football. They play a strong, resilient backline, strong midfield. They don't mind the opposition having the ball, and obviously they've got the attacking threat with St Maximin and Fraser and Wilson when he wasn't injured, and now Chris Wood. They've got a threat up front as well. So it's going to be interesting. Could be a bit. I can see it being a bit of a stalemate. I don't think it'll be a 0-0. We'll talk about scores later, but I do think they set up very similar to us. Now, when we faced off against them earlier in the season, not that we can take much from that now because they've got a new manager and they got new players. Obviously, it was a great game, wasn't it? For that was the first game of the season, wasn't
it? Yeah, it was.
It was the first game of the season.
I think there's one stat that I've found that I find quite interesting with Newcastle, and that is, they're not playing a lot of football, and I mean that literally, right? They when you look at the number of minutes played in their last three games of actual, the ball being in play, a typical game, if you look at, and this is just based on an article I read, a typical game, for instance, with West Ham, an average game would be 55 minutes in play. Man City, 60 minutes in play. You go down to the bottom of the table and you find, unsurprisingly, the likes of Brentford, 52 minutes in play, right? Yeah. You remember what Brentford did to us when they came to our place earlier in the year, right? They took a 1-0 lead. They came flying out the blocks, took a 1-0 lead, and then basically wasted time for the rest of the game, right? They were diabolical. the last 3 games, the last 2 games especially, which is wins against Aston Villa and Everton, the ball's been in play for 45 and 46 minutes.
Wow. I heard that stat. I heard the stat. I heard that stat on TalkSport early on in the week, Gal. And they took the Premier League as a whole, and they said in 2020-21, the average time the ball was in play in a Premier League average game was 61 minutes. That shocked me.
I know.
Yeah. But if you use that as if you use 60 minutes though as a sort of benchmark of good, right? You realise how bad Newcastle are. 45 minutes, that is well low. That is right at the very bottom, That's only over a couple of games. I don't know what they were like before that, but the last that's been a common theme for the last 3 games that they've won.
Yeah, well, like I say, they're winning by hook or by crook. Against Everton and Villa, their two most recent wins. They had far less possession. I think against Villa, they had 40%. Against Everton, it was lower. They're kind of, in terms of sort of passing stats and stuff like that, their opposition is always, they like I say, they don't mind giving the opposition the ball. They seem like they're quite comfortable defensively, and they are going to be quite strong in the midfield as well.
I think the thing is as well, though, what you've got to remember is they can have all the money in the world, but points are important. So it doesn't matter how they get them, which is, I think they're unbeaten in 5, won the last 3. So, you can buy all these expensive players, Trippier and the guy from Lyon, Guimaraes. But at the end of the day, if you have to win ugly, you have to win ugly. And, he's done well with, he's had money to spend, of course he has, and he's bought some big players, if you like. But I think some of the players that he's bought, the important ones, are the defenders, because Trippier, he's also got Matt Targett on loan from Villa. You forgot that one, Nick. Someone in the chat reminded me about that, and he's a good player, Targett. But also that Dan Burn from Brighton. Do you know what I mean? So he's addressed the issues that they've had defensively. So. Yeah,
it's good.
Sorry, that was on mute.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough one, and I'll particularly fear for our. I think we'll be quite productive going forward because they've got their second string fullbacks in place, but I do worry about the pace up against our fullbacks, especially Soufal. Soufal is a massive worry after what I saw the other day. To think of Sam Maximum up against him, that's terrifying.
Well. He plays well against us all the time anyway, I feel. And, the thing is, he's a good player. We all know that. But now they've bought the players. Now they're bringing in better players. He will only get better. And I think he's been involved at least in 9 of their goals, either assists or goal scoring, which is don't sound a lot, but when you consider where they are in the league, he's an obvious threat. But now playing with better players, he's only going to improve. But like you said, Soufal, the form he's been in. Yeah, you do sort of worry, don't you?
Do you remember the very first thing that Sam Maximum did in the Premier League was at London Stadium when he was up against Zabaleta? Do you remember? Yeah. And he made Zabaleta look like a traffic cone. It was so slow. And I think that's what Harvey, what's his name, did to Soufal the other day. So Maximum's even faster than him, Harvey Barnes, right? So I dread to think. There's a comment. Someone's put a comment in the chat actually about I'd rather play Johnson. It's Ashley rather play Johnson than Soufal. I agree with that completely because I think first and foremost Johnson is a stopper, is a defender, and I think that's what we need for all the. If you think about it, I know that he does get forward a lot, Soufal, but if you think of his productivity getting forward lately, it ain't been much, has it?
Do you think that if you're looking for a speed merchant, do you think Fredericks will be the obvious choice though? Maybe more.
Fredericks, yeah. I mean, if you look at what he did, he nullified Harvey Barnes the other day. He definitely did, and maybe. I mean, that's always an option when you're up against pace.
I thought about that the other day. Do you know? Because obviously it was very clear. If you listen to Brendan Rodgers' pre-match interview, he said before the game, he said, "Look, we know how West Ham are going to play. We know what to expect. We know what we're going to do." You could see that the game plan was to target Soufal because that was a game plan. I don't know whether it was Fredericks was so amazing when he came on or whether the fact that as soon as Soufal went off, they switched plan because I don't think Fredericks didn't. I don't think he had much to do defensively. I don't think Harvey Barnes was having a go at Fredericks. So it did seem You know, I agree with you. I think Frederick's up against fast players. He's the obvious choice. But Johnson defensively is probably the best.
Cool.
I was trying to pick that detail out at Leicester at the game. I was trying to pick that detail out of whether Harvey Barnes had actually just stopped, or now that Fredericks was on, or whether Fredericks doing a great job. And I couldn't actually tell you. I couldn't tell you one way or the other what it was. But one thing's for sure, there was no further attacking runs from Harvey Barnes for Fredericks to even stop. Right. No. So it was as though they'd turned the switch off. That was definitely a plan by Rodgers, and my God, it worked well, didn't it?
Yeah. It did.
And you know what the Premier League's like? Other managers will be watching that video now, just the same as they were watching the video with Arthur Masuaku when he was getting embarrassed down the other side, right? And now, the next game, that is where they'll attack. If he plays Soufal, that is our weak spot. That's where he'll attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, have you seen much of Newcastle? In the last 3 games in particular, have you watched them at all?
Yeah, I did. I watched them against Villa.
Yeah.
So I watched the extended highlights of that. And to be fair, it was a 1-0. Trippier scored a deflected goal from the free kick, hit the wall and went in, whatever. But when he went off injured, you did notice a change in their defence because, he knows that to be, he's an international. He's played overseas now. He's got hundreds of first-team appearances. He's a professional. He knows what he's doing. He seems to be the organizer. I mean, that Dan Burn guy, he looks good, but he hasn't got a lot of top-flight experience, really. I mean, he's played a lot of lower league football, but he looks good. He's a big, solid, he's a Newcastle fan. But I did notice when Trippier went off, they looked a bit disorganized. But it was, I mean, to me, it's pretty much what I've seen of them is, give the ball to St. Maximin and let him run. Because he's the obvious threat. And if you can nullify him, I'm not saying if you nullify him, you win the game. Of course not. But, he's their main threat, isn't he? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He's an amazing player. He's kind of I would love to have him. I think he's almost impossible to defend against. I mean, I'll never forget. Maybe I'm just kind of more terrified because of the way that we tried to defend him against him in that game. Do you remember when we played that high line with Pellegrini and with when we had Zabaleta up against him?
It was madness. I mean that comment from Epic Hash Time just now about Soufal's in poor form, but he's still by far the best right back. See, I'm not so sure myself.
I don't think he is.
He definitely was the best right back, that's for sure. But I think he's actually had a really poor. He hasn't even had high spots this season. No. He hasn't had a game where you can pick out and say he played really well in that game. I think he's been pretty poor the whole season.
I think. Go on, sorry, Gav. Sorry.
No. He's gone from out. He was definitely by far our best fullback. I mean, he was almost impregnable last year. Look at what he did to Grealish. He terrified him, right? Yeah. And he did that week after week after week. And then he had the tournament away in the summer, and he's come back and he's been half the player. Go on.
I think last season we were judging him more on his attacking prowess because he was so productive. Because he was so productive going forward, we didn't really get a lot of opportunity, or his attacking prowess sort of not papered over the cracks, but we didn't concentrate on his defensive side because his forward play was so fantastic. So we sort of forgot I don't remember him being poor defensively last year, but all of a sudden now, because he's not doing the attacking side of things, we're concentrating on the other side of his job. And, I don't know if he's that bad a defender, but I just think he seems to be. I think Nick hit the nail on the head the other day. He don't like being put under pressure, and if they're putting a high line up against him, which they invariably seem to be doing there, it seems to be putting him under immense pressure, and he's making more rash decisions.
You know what? I remember of him defending last year. I remember his defending being absolutely dogged and determined, right? Yeah. Like what the example, what he did to Grealish. I mean, he never gave him an inch. And he did that to several players last year, didn't he? So, yeah, we were on the front foot more and getting forward. You're right there. But I think, he was he surprised us because he came in and he was a really solid right back, first and foremost. So, yeah, it's a shame. I hope he finds his form again. I really do. But at the moment, he's a vulnerability for us.
I just think if you look back, say, I mean, one of his most, I suppose, infamous performances last year was against Villa when he had Grealish in his pocket. Yeah. But then, if you remember in that game, it weren't just Soufal. We doubled up. We had Fredericks on him as well. So do you know what I mean? I don't think. Yeah, I think John's right. I think we were focused more similar to Souček as well. You know, Souček's not been informed this year, and I think people were so sort of heavily focused on Soufal being a goal machine because he got 10 goals for us. And I think you said, John, didn't you? He was never a prolific goal scorer before he came to West Ham.
No, he just took a lot of the Premier League by surprise, I think, rather than he became prolific overnight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, and that often happens, doesn't it? That often happens when a new player comes to the Premier League. You know, if they can take the Premier League by storm, and then a few games later, or in his case, maybe half a season later, is not quite as free scoring as he once was. Especially because a lot of those goals were from set pieces.
Yeah,
and I suppose teams, you know, if they're you know how cute the coaching is in the Premier League, you know, they'll be playing those set pieces back, and they'll
mitigate against it, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Nigel's hit the nail on the head as well. We forgot about this probably in the chat. He's put Soufal plays behind Bowen. Bowen this season is more attacking, as shown by his goals and his assists, but that leaves Soufal more exposed, and he's probably right.
He is right, but what all that says to me is that Soufal was being babysat last year because, like I said,
he wasn't.
No. What I'm saying is, right at the end of the day, if you've got fullbacks, not Cresswell, you can't leave Cresswell exposed. That's why we play 4 nails on the left. Okay, we haven't got fullbacks that can cope against fast wingers. We just haven't. Right. They need to have their hands held when they're being attacked by fast wingers. If you've got, like for instance, Fredericks, if Fredericks up against Harvey Barnes, you ain't got to help him out really. He can match anyone for pace.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So if you've got fullbacks that are slow and the attacking players need to come back, then that removes our attacking threat.
Yeah.
You know, Fornals is creative output from the left-hand side is non-existent because his job isn't to attack on the left-hand side. His job is to protect Cresswell and let Cresswell get up the pitch because of his delivery. That's why, and that's why Soufal, not Soufal. That's why, you know, kind of Fornals. I feel sorry for him because Fornals ain't a left winger. He's not. You're
right. I guess. I mean, and that's probably why, you know, Ben Rama is as ineffective as he is, because usually he gets assigned that position as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
with half of his role being protecting the defender. And we all know, I think, if you can remember back to where Cresswell was when David Moyes arrived, I think we were all talking about Cresswell coming to the end.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not knocking Cresswell. Cresswell was still technically one of the best players that we've got, but as a fullback, he hasn't got the pace, and he will get roasted by players that are fast.
But the only contradiction I find, Nick, amongst a lot of West Ham fans, and maybe I've said it in the past as well, is that when Johnson was in the team because Soufal was injured, everybody criticised Johnson's lack of attacking prowess, right?
Nick,
that was me. Yeah.
So I didn't want to say your name, Nick.
But
this is the point I was trying to say, right?
Yeah.
At the time, I was saying to you, Nick, to me, I know you were saying that modern day fullbacks, and I get that. But first and foremost, they need to know how to defend, right? And Johnson, his stats proved when he was stepped into the team, I think it took so many games for someone to dribble past him or something ridiculous.
Mate, it was ridiculous. There was that run of games. We had 7 games where we won 6 and drew 1 with him in the team.
Yeah.
You know, and that was against, what was that? That was Liverpool, Man City, Spurs. There was good teams as well.
Yeah.
You know, but there is this stat, and I ain't putting this up to upset you, John, because it's got your mate in it.
No, you can do what you want.
But this is a tweet that was put out from the first half of the game against Leicester. So, and obviously, you know, this was our build-up play. We're so ridiculously left-sided heavy in our construction, in our creative play. Look at the passing accuracy from the left side to the right side. Now, that is a problem because that is massively lopsided, and it isn't. I think you can take the centre backs out of that because centre backs, they do launch the ball.
Dawson might have passed it to Diop in the first place.
Yeah. But they tend to launch them long. But when you look at those stats there, I mean, if you look at the passing accuracy of Cresswell and Rice, and to add to that, Lanzini's passing accuracy in that game was 94%.
Yeah.
Listen, that's fine for a 2-2 draw, but I think if you'd have looked at the same stats for the Leeds game where Diop got brutalised, and Cresswell didn't have his best game either. I mean, that whole left-hand side was woeful in that game.
Yeah,
so it's horses for courses, isn't it? Really.
We've got Danny who's joining us.
Hey,
here we are. Hello, Danny. You all right?
What's up, fellas?
How's it
Danny,
going? Right, Danny's been brought on to bring the positivity to our team.
Whoa. I'm positive that Danny is American positive, which is a whole new level.
Right? No, man, I'm a Dolphins fan and I'm fucking delusional.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yes, we brought Danny on for the score prediction only, basically, to because mine ain't going to be very good tonight. But how are you? You all right?
What's that?
I said, how are you? You okay?
I'm wonderful. It's getting way too cold here, though. We've had, it was shorts and sandals weather when I left for work this morning, and now it's below freezing, and we're getting a bit of snow. Yeah, this place is weird, man.
We've got a storm coming tomorrow, apparently. So we've got to run.
When don't you though?
I know
it's a little bit of wind though, a little bit of high wind tomorrow, a little bit of high wind. I
think it'll be shut down for the day.
I'm a bit worried about my caravan. My caravan's gonna, they're gonna have 70, 80 mile an hour winds, aren't we? So I know it's all chained down and everything else, but
yeah. Just quickly, Garino's happy to see Danny, but somebody's not so happy.
I see my wife's not happy to see me.
Yeah. Maybe she misses you. Maybe you're not doing what you should be doing.
Probably not.
Right. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to throw up the lineup predictor. So what we've got is what we're expecting, first of all, from Newcastle. So like I say, because Trippier and Manquillo are out, we're expecting Dummett to come in at left back and Kraft going at right back, which is going to weaken them considerably.
But don't forget Target's there now, isn't he? Remember?
He's up. Well, it is. Yeah, okay. So he may go left back, but and you've got obviously you've got Dan Burn and you've got Shah as their centre backs, and they've also got Lascelles, or I think he's back. You said he was suspended, didn't you, John?
I'm sure he was suspended or something. Yeah, but I don't think he'll get in the team at the minute because they're on a winning streak, aren't they? So
yeah, but generally this is how they play. They play over 4-3-3. So how I anticipate, I don't think we'll change shape too much. I think we'll just match them up. So whoever was the number 10 will just drop a little bit deeper.
Is that Callum Wilson you have on the right hand? Is he injured?
He's injured.
No, that's Ramirez.
Yeah, no.
Wilson's injured.
Oh yeah, Wilson's injured, mate. Yeah, he's been injured for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Trippier was ruled out for a few months, right? He's not coming back this season.
No,
probably not.
No,
probably not.
No. So and like I say, Manquillo was ruled out today as well. So he's okay. He's been a mainstay for him. But like I say, they play with that midfield three. Bruno Guimaraes. Do you know much about this guy, Danny?
Who?
Bruno Guimaraes from Lyon, Brazilian.
I don't.
You don't know much about him, okay?
No, I don't.
Well, this is apparently going to be his full debut. He's a £40 million signing from Lyon, 24-year-old Brazilian international.
I've not seen him. Most of what I know about Brazilian players are typically going to be whoever is featuring for their national side, and the bar set a little high for those guys. So he could be quality. I don't know. Yeah,
apparently he's a very good player. I mean, his stats are off the charts, to be honest. I had a little look when I was comparing everyone to Souček the other night, and he's
fuck's sake,
he's very good. He's very good. So obviously you've got Joe Linton now, he's been converted to a central midfielder. Shelby in the middle, who is still one of the best passers in the game. He's a brilliant player, and you've got that threat up front. And the most worrying of all stats is that Chris Wood, who loves scoring against us, he still hasn't scored.
Oh my God, yeah, he's a hammer killer, that guy.
He still hasn't scored for him. Oh my, yeah. Well, that's going to happen, didn't you?
He still ain't scored for him. So anyway, look, let's start at the. Let's go back to front today, as we're around the other way. So we'll go Which striker shall we play up front?
Which strike? Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, we're going to go. Bowen is going to start on the right-hand side. So you got Bowen up against, you think Target, don't you? Rather than Dummett, John.
Yeah, I think he'll be Target. Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. Target. Getting him on loan was a good thing for them, I think.
Absolutely. Right now, on this side here, what is Moyes going to do? Because I think with a makeshift fullback in Kraft, who isn't the best fullback in the world, that's got to be a game for Benny on the left, isn't it?
Yeah, well, look, listen. We've all been guilty of giving a bit of stick over the season because we're more frustrated rather than disappointed. But yeah, I think when he come on the other day, he looked proactive. He was forward thinking, like we said. Him and Lanzini are going to become interchangeable. They're going to be both super subs from time to time. Yeah. But I think he'll start Benrahma personally.
Yeah, I think that's the right decision. Do you agree with that, guys?
I'd go with that. Yeah, I'd go with that.
Sure. Yeah. He's gonna come off for Lanzini if you don't have him playing behind Antonio, though.
Yeah. I know. I mean, look, the only thing that might play in Moyes' mind, because you know that Moyes is pragmatic, is Ryan Fraser up against Cresswell. That might be why he chooses Fornals on that. So I will be very disappointed if he does that. But because the only reason you play Fornals on that side is to be a second fullback. I'm sorry, that's the only reason you do it. Okay, central midfield. We'll put the obvious candidates in. So you've got Rice on one side and Souček on the other. Right now, who do we play in the middle today? Is it going to be Lanzini? When you consider we're playing, it'll probably be a deeper three. Like I say, Lanzini's stats and his ball retention and everything the other day were really, really good. I didn't realise. I thought he was quiet.
But I'd like to have Lanzini behind Antonio.
Yeah.
Like I say, I think we'll match them up. I think we'll play, because Newcastle play a three-man midfield, I think we'll just do the same. I think it'll be toe-to-toe. Because you can't, like I say, Shelvey doesn't really sit deep, does he? Shelvey does.
No, I'd go Lanzini.
Be all over the park, Shelvey.
Yeah. Would you go Lanzini or would you go Fornals? Who's more dogged at the two of them?
I'd go Lanzini personally.
Yeah, me too.
I think Fornals has been a bit lost recently, and although Lanzini can't probably generally last the whole game, I'd rather have him on for the first 60, 70 minutes and then maybe give Fornals the last. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, Fornals is another one who he always puts in a lot of effort, but he's another one who's been off form, I think, since his other half had a baby.
Yeah.
That was several months ago. Yeah,
it does seem to be, but
yeah,
I also think that Benrahma's better performances do happen when Lanzini's on the pitch.
Yeah, you've said that before.
I agree. Yeah, they're more on the same wavelength. Yeah,
they seem to be. Right now, let's go to obviously let's get Cresswell out of the way. Obviously, we know he's starting. So let's go to left-sided centre-back. So is Zuma going to come back in? And which of our two centre-backs is getting dropped? Yeah.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? Because obviously I've got a lot of time for Dawson, but I wouldn't be. I mean, no, I don't think you can, but I could see. Do
you know why I would say that he would? Because Diop put in an absolute masterclass performance on the left side of centre back, and that allows Zuma to come in his favoured side.
Yeah, I can't see him. He's not going to drop Dawson though. Dawson did nothing to get dropped.
No,
so
I'm not sure Diop did anything to get dropped last.
But Diop was only playing. Diop was only playing because Zuma was out. I mean,
but based on his performance, Gary. Based on his performance, he look. They were both brilliant.
I think they both made a hell of a case to have gotten the starting nod this weekend.
Yeah. I would be tempted to start with Dawson and Diop in this game personally, but
really?
Yeah. With the way they were our best players against Leicester, I think they were.
And you know what? Sorry to interrupt you, but in my opinion, Wood is the sort of striker that Dawson enjoys playing against.
I agree with that.
He's not as quick. It's all about in the air. It's all about aerial duels. And I think Dawson can hold his own. You know what I mean?
I thought we might match him because he's pretty tall. I thought we might match him with some size back there with Diop instead of Dawson.
Yeah, look, a couple of people in the chat agree about Dawson would be better to play against Wood. So then, if you're going to bring Zuma in, it would be for Diop. I can't see him putting Zuma on the bench. I think he'll bring him in personally.
Okay, so that's going to be Zuma on the left, and that is going to be Dawson.
Dawson on the right, yeah.
Dawson's
Right.
Creek. Dawson's Creek.
Okay, right. I actually haven't got Fredericks on the screen, so we'll use Diop. We'll use Fornals as Fredericks if you want to choose Fredericks. I personally, for me, on the right back against this bloke, it just gives me nightmares.
That's going to cause some problems.
You can't be playing him the way he's playing at the moment.
Yeah, I'd say the only problem is, right, and this is something I've noticed with Fredericks, right? He's very, very eager to get forward. Sometimes a little bit too eager, and he gets stranded up the pitch. And when he gets stranded up the pitch, the pace is no use to him.
No.
Right. So I would, at a safety, if you want a padlock, I'd put Johnson in myself.
Are we? What would you do, Danny? Because are you a bit...
So just lately, or really this season, I know you guys touched a bit on how the two Czech boys have kind of the sparkle has worn off a little bit. I am going to go with Johnson there over Soufal, just because they've got so much speed on the wing, particularly on that side of the pitch, that I don't know, man. If you make Souček hang back and maybe provide some cover for him when he gets beat, I'm okay with Soufal there. But right now, I'd be going with Ben Johnson. I'm not sure Ben Johnson's done anything to have dropped out of the lineup in the first place.
Not at all.
That he was there because Vladimir Soufal was injured, but
he should have probably kept his. He should have probably kept his place throughout.
Johnson. I agree. I do like Soufal, but I have kind of a rule of thumb on that: is you go with the hot hand. You stick with the guy that's getting you results in his position.
Yeah, true. I mean, if before last week's game, I would probably say that Moyes would stick with Soufal because, as you've hit on, Nick, in the past about squad seniority and all that. However, to take him off against Leicester, which he did need to do really because he was getting hammered by Barnes, but to sort of make that admission, to me, sort of shows that Moyes will do what is necessary. Really,
willingness to adapt to get your.
It might take him a while to do it.
Sure.
It was too late though, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't too late because we got the draw. We didn't lose, it wasn't too late.
I know.
But the problem is that St. Maximin is a far quicker animal than Barnes, and he's a lot more trickier. So if he's pulled
one
off
of the best
Soufal,
dribblers in the league, really.
Well, he's pulled off Soufal for struggling against Barnes. Barnes isn't the quickest, so if he sticks with that mentality, he can't play Soufal against St. Maximin. But
yeah. Well, everyone in the chat, we ran a poll in the chat about Johnson and Soufal. Everyone's agreed that it should be Johnson, and I did the same with Zuma as well. Should Zuma start? And it's an overwhelming yes. Zuma needs to.
There's such a difference. There's such a difference in pace. I mean, Soufal will look like he's running backwards up against.
Oh, he'll be on his heels the whole time against St. Maximin, and that. Do I remember? So the first time we played Newcastle this season, was Soufal back there?
It was the first game of the season, wasn't it? Early
right.
Don't know.
Let me have a look. I will tell you.
I think he was, but the person that ended up getting burned was actually Declan Rice having to mark him on the wing. For their
you might be right. I remember he roasted him, didn't he? Roasted him.
Yeah, he absolutely cooked him, man.
Yeah, right on the byline. I remember now. Yeah.
So head to head, where are we? So 4-2.
So Garino reckons Johnson for his defending.
Yeah,
it was Soufal. It was Soufal.
I'm with you guys on Johnson.
It was Wilson and Sam Maximin played up front.
Yeah. Everyone in the chat is for Soufal to be rested. They're putting it politely, saying rest him, but he's
yeah.
Or Garino's got a good point, unless he doubles up with Soufal and Fredericks on the right. It's a possibility.
It wouldn't surprise me. But and what push Bowen central?
Yeah, that's the only way you do
like
that.
a false nine type of role, but don't we already do that anyway?
Yeah, but with Antonio, I mean,
Yeah.
I think Bowen's looked really effective centrally lately. You know, he's looked every bit as Nigel's
He's capable.
Yeah.
I think if West Ham are focused on purely trying to stop the cause of most of Newcastle's goals, then it would be all about stopping Sam Maximin. Maybe doubling up on him is a good idea. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not too worried about Fraser on the other side. You know,
no, me neither. Because you've also got Rice on that side as well. Rice plays on the left hand side.
Zero issues if Rice is covering that part of the pitch. Like no issues there with that guy.
I mean, the only thing I do think that we do, and like I say, I think we'll have three in midfield. Whoever is at typical number 10 will be dropping down to form a deeper midfield three. That should hopefully free up whoever we play on the left, hopefully Ben Rama, to have a go at their fullback. Hopefully. Should we do a Premier League predictor for the weekend?
Yeah.
Let's
do it.
Should we give it a go? First of all, before we do that, give us your scores on this game for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go 2-1 us.
You're going for 2-1 West Ham. Go on, John.
Mate, if we nullify St Maximin, I can't see him getting goals from anywhere else unless Shelby it's a pelter. But I'm gonna say 1-0 to us.
1-0 to us.
Let's say 2-0 to us.
Mm.
So Antonio's in a bit of a dry spell. He's due. He's fucking due to bag a goal. I'm not telling you he's going to score one, but he's due.
Yeah.
And we're due for a clean sheet. Although it's only been a couple of games since we had one.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. But he's got to score eventually, Antonio, isn't he?
Yeah, he can't have this long of a dry. Like it can only go on so long. I mean, Cristiano had a dry spell and he bagged one. So
how many games is it now? Antonio?
Mate, I don't know. I can't even remember his goal.
He scored against Palace, didn't he? When Ben Rama put that ball in, do you remember?
Yeah, that was Boxing Day.
Dude, was that the last time? I think so.
Yeah, I think it was.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's been
Boxing Day
a while ago, wasn't it?
Because he didn't score the whole time I was in Mexico.
Oh, stop talking about your holiday. Stop showing off, yeah?
Hey, I had to watch all those games on a laptop. There were no West Ham pubs in Playa del Carmen. So
that's dedication for you.
It is dedication. Yeah.
Well, I've got some predictions in the chat, Nick, just very quickly, mate.
Go on,
so Pam's gone for 2-2.
Desmond.
Danny's wife's gone for 1-0 West Ham. She agrees with me.
Good job, baby. Good call.
Glenn says 2-0 Hammers.
Yeah.
A lot of positivity.
Garino says 1-1. Jones says 2-0, but that's my heart deciding. Pam says Antonio can't score from the wing. Everyone's best friend says 3-0 Soucek hat-trick.
Oh, God.
3-1. 1 in 17, I think, for Antonio.
Blimey, you're joking. Really?
That's probably right. Because the
in all competitions, that actually sounds right.
That's crazy, isn't it? And yet he's
still first choice up front.
Only choice up front. That's like
okay. Well, would you know what? I am, for the sake of West Ham, because usually, Danny, when I'm negative, West Ham win, and I haven't been negative on a prediction for a while, and I'm going to go. No, I haven't been negative on a prediction for a while.
Oh, not on a prediction.
On a prediction for a while. So I'm gonna go 2-0 Newcastle.
Okay.
What?
I continue to be a certified party pooper and watch us get results. Yeah,
I'm going 2-0. I just think it's going to be a bit of a stalemate. And yeah, I'm worried about their attackers, to be quite honest.
Are you really going to say 2-0 Newcastle?
No, not in this. I'll let you choose a score, but I'm saying I think it's 2-0.
Your actual prediction is 2-0
my actual prediction is 2-0 Newcastle. So I'll give Danny the West Ham game. Go on. So what score are you going for, Danny?
2-0 to the Cockney boys, man. All day.
All day, man. All day.
Right, Gary. Arsenal versus Brentford.
2-0 Arsenal.
Right, John. Brighton and Hove Albion versus Burnley FC.
Burnley.
1-1. 1-1, because Brighton love to draw and so do Burnley.
Hey, is Christian Eriksen available for Brentford yet? I know he's made an appearance, not in his kit, but
No, he's not. I don't think he's available yet.
I don't think he's available to play yet, from what I've heard. No.
Is he still waiting on medical clearance?
No, I just think he's getting up to match fitness, mate.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have given him a contract if he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, right. If he wasn't medically cleared, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
He's medically cleared. It's just match fitness, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going. Oh, do you know what? I'll let you do the predictions. I'll go to you again, John, and I'll work my way down the list. Palace versus Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea.
Oh,
that's 1-2, Nick.
Can you tell me it the right way around so I ain't got to think?
Just say, okay, yeah.
Nick, you're just punching in numbers, mate.
Right, okay, Gary. Southampton versus Everton.
I'm going to go 1-0.
Annie, this is a hard one for you. Liverpool
Fuck.
versus Norwich.
That'll probably be like 4-0 to Liverpool.
But not 0-0.
Yeah, Norwich will score 0-0. That's how bad it'll be.
Right, how many Villa going to beat Watford by, John?
Well, listen, Watford won't win, but they won't let in loads. I'll say 2-1 to Villa.
Yep. Harry, City. Oh, come on, do the right thing, Gal.
City Tottenham.
Yeah,
well, that's obvious.
You don't even need to lie on this one.
5-0. 5-0. 5-0 City.
Yeah. Right, Danny. Leeds versus Man U. We need Leeds to win this, really, don't we?
So I've actually got a good friend who's a Man United fan coming over to watch that game, and you know what? I don't think United are going to win that. I'm going to go 2-2.
So yeah, I'll take that. Desmond,
because both those clubs have been shipping goals, man.
Yeah, true.
All right, and then we go to Gary, the Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Leicester City.
Oh, that's a straightforward home win for Wolves. 2-0.
2-0. Right, let's see if that puts us in the top 4.
There we go. Back in the top 4.
There you go.
What a team.
Right. We can do it. We can do this.
Magnificent. So how many will we be? So that'll be Arsenal will still have 3 games in hand.
Yeah.
Wolves will have 2 games in hand.
Tottenham will have 3.
Yeah, we'll sod them. They're never going to win another game, are they?
Let me. I'll tell you what. This isn't honest. I'm going to be honest here, right? Who would you rather be at the minute? Would you rather be
Wolves,
in West Ham's position, or Tottenham's position with 3 games in hand?
Oh, you'd rather be West Ham's position.
I'd rather have the points on the board.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed those wins.
Nick, look at the slip ups they've had in the last couple of weeks, Tottenham.
Yeah, it's true.
They can't buy a game.
It's not. Chasing someone down is tough, and that's why when Man United did it all them years ago when Keegan had a fit, that was one of the biggest upsets ever because they were miles behind. They just clawed back. Chasing is harder. Chasing is harder.
They can't buy a win, and it makes me very, very sad on their behalf. Very upset. Such a shame, isn't it?
You're doing backflips internally.
Oh, Conte.
All of you are. Yeah.
Levy said to Conte in the interview, said, "Don't worry, mate. I'll back you all the way. I'll back you all the way in the transfer window. Yeah, no worries."
Mate, I'll tell you something though. Of all them chasing teams,
yeah,
I think Wolves are going to do it.
They're danger.
I just think there's no expectation on them. Do you know what I mean? There's no real expectation.
We've got to play them, and we've got to get a result in that game, haven't we? We've got to play them and get a result.
Yeah. And I'm speaking of Wolves, I'm glad they did not keep Nuno. I believe they had a better thing going with him than before he was sacked.
Yeah. I don't know. They're doing it right now. It's almost it's a carbon copy team.
It is, but I feel like they would be even more dangerous had he still been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I was really pleased. I thought it was priceless, his little stint at Spurs. You can't sort of deny us that pleasure, Danny.
Dude, they could have gotten Zidane at Spurs and he would have flopped. Like it's not the manager, man. It's not the manager.
That show that we did with Sean, you know, with all the Nuno slides.
Oh no,
Nuno idea. Oh yeah, it was good. Love it. But anyway, Danny, I'm going to drop this on you like a bomb. You're going to do our outro, mate, as a guest. So go on, just this is Claret and Booze. Thanks for joining us. Go on, it's over to you.
This is Claret and Booze coming at you from not very sunny Midwest United States here, and scattered about in London. Tune in, hit like and subscribe, eat your veggies and all that shit. And as always, come on, you Irons.
And go Dolphins.
Go Dolphins. And go Dolphins.
Go Dolphins.
Fins all the way up, baby.
Woo! Oh, Kevin Ewens.
Take care.